Peacemaker has returned with episode number 4, and we have a lot of questions on what's going to happen with Chris. Is anybody going to ever catch up with him? Will Argus get him, or what's next? Stay tuned after the intro, and we'll talk about it.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Collard Greens TV, your favorite nerd channel. I am your host, King, and this is the greatest co-host in the game. This is JC3, and today we're coming right back to Peacemaker, episode 4 of season 2. And to kick this bad boy off, as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us along for our journey. If you like what we do or you like the videos we make, please follow us. We'd love to see you in the comments, and we always appreciate you. And another quick reminder, this is a mature episode. There will be some cussing and violent speech, so parental advisory is necessary. So without any of that, we're going to get underway. Jay, why don't you tell us a little bit of the plot and your first thoughts?
Well, in this fourth episode, we get a bit of a break from the alternate universe that Chris has been in from episode 3. Just to tackle current events with Argus, the Argus agents, and Sasha Bordeaux trying to invade his home to get the technology he has for the quantum unfolding chamber, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
QUC, in short. Awesome. In the meantime, we're also getting introduced to Judo Master, the comedic relief of the show, in my opinion. Him and Economos, they're hilarious. I love their chemistry on screen. But we're also the majority of this episode is Chris and Adebayo actually just bonding, and Chris coming clean to her about what he's been up to and what's been going on in the other dimension, and her honestly just trying to be a good friend and tell him like, hey, I understand, like the grass is greener on that side, but it's not real, it's not yours, you know what I mean? So seeing their dynamic and their chemistry, always nice. We also catch up with Amelia Harcourt, who's also trying to work through her issues with not having a career, not being able to work for the agency that she's been a part of all this time. And we get some nice interactions between her and Rick Flag Sr., which, is very interesting because they have a good history, I wouldn't say good history, but just the history in general with her loving his son, him losing his son, and trying to go after Peacemaker, the one that's currently trying to get after Amelia Harcourt. So a little complicated there, but hey, complicated is good TV, and I enjoyed it. What do you think, man?
So my first thought, I really love the opening. For those of you who are watching along with the show, they've been doing flashbacks for every opening, and this one was Peacemaker as a child with his brother and his dad hunting in the woods, and they run across essentially a quantum door that leads into another universe. Of course, at this point, they don't know what it is, and they run into an alien carrying a device that is a door opener that surprisingly looks a lot like Peacemaker's helmet in its shape and color. So I thought it was interesting because one of the things that this show does is it tells you in this moment that Peacemaker's dad was not an inventor. He was just a racist redneck who found all this shit, and now he's using it. When we saw the first season, it was kind of explained that like Peacemaker thinks his dad makes it and he is the inventor, when in fact he just found some technology out when they were hunting and now has been using it this whole time. And that little beginning kind of definitely gives a new layer to the show, and where you kind of thought of Peacemaker's dad and what Peacemaker knows to be the truth in his life. I really enjoyed this episode as much as a follow-up of the episode to kind of say, hey, here's kind of what's happening after we get back into the present day. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed him and Adebayo really getting to know each other, and him kind of dropping the facade and telling her exactly what was going on with him and where he's been in this other universe. And like you said, she's trying to convince him that just because things seem to be perfect and the best that he could think of, that it's not real. It's a fantasy. It's almost like he would prefer to live in the dream versus the reality. And she's trying to get him to understand that, while Argus is at the same time trying to get into his quantum unfolding chamber in his house, which is fantastic. Um, I'd like to move on to, what were your favorite parts in this episode, because we really got some funny stuff in this one.
Well, I would have to say my first favorite part would definitely have to be the fight scene between Peacemaker and Judo Master over the helmet. That was very entertaining. It was also entertaining to see how that fight ended with Peacemaker just like they're both just falling down the hill, and Peacemaker just he falls and lands right on Judo Master. That would be a terrible way to get knocked out. Cena's whole like John Cena's whole frame just man, that
It's
would
a big
hurt.
dude.
But yeah, that big boy right there. I would also say another favorite part of mine. We got some scenes with Red Saint Wild, Michael Rooker's character, and Economos. And pretty much with him being the world's foremost eagle hunter, we see him go full in depth and like trying to find Eagly, hunting down Eagly. Which, by the way, this show having an eagle having an arch nemesis is ridiculous, but it's also great and hilarious. But we get a scene while Red Saint Wild is tracking Eagly. He finds some bird droppings and he decides to taste those bird droppings. Very disgusting, but very funny. I heavily enjoyed that. Also, another favorite scene of mine would have to be probably honestly the meeting with Rick Flag and Amelia, just because we get we get a bit of a reference from Creature Commandos because he mentions his broken back, and right from there, I thought of that show, and that again, that just for us nerds, for us people who are fans of this, it's great just to see shows connect even if they're animated. So that was great, and also just the fact of you're trying to see just between the scene with those two, you're trying to figure out who's playing who, right? Just because Rick Flag Sr. is offering Amelia pretty much her job back and everything that she wants after confirming that Amanda Waller blackballed her, but she has to get Peacemaker for him. So now the question is she really going to turn against Peacemaker or is she playing Rick Flag Sr.? I'm hoping for the latter. But those are some of my favorite parts. What about you?
You brought up something that I kind of wanted to dive into a little bit more, and it was, there's a rumor going around right now on the internet that Earth that Peacemaker went to could be Earth X, and could be the planet or the world where the Nazis won, and the universe could be mostly white or all white that we saw because the Nazis won. And once you said Creature Commandos, it reminded me of the army robot that just wants to kill
Yeah.
Nazis. And I mean,
Oh,
why don't we just let him loose, man? Let him go over there and let him loose. He'll take care of
wow.
things real quick.
Yeah, he will. He's still alive. So,
Yeah, he is.
hey.
And one thing that I was thinking about that bugs me, and I know there's a real world excuse for it, but when you look at Creature Commandos, Rick Flag is like this grizzled, older, gray haired dude. And then in the show, he's like all black hair and he looks kind of a little bit younger than they depicted him in the cartoon. I always thought that was funny. The actor was shooting a show, so they couldn't dye his hair the way they wanted to, but he'll probably go gray a little later. But to piggyback off of what you said, the Saint Wild scene with Economos is probably my favorite scene. When he knocks Saint Wild down and knocks him unconscious, and then kind of picks him up and was like, "You tripped," and is trying to convince him that he tripped and fell. And Saint Wild is so up here that he's like, he's got blood on his head and he's talking about his third eye is open, and eagly is presumably the alpha eagle out of all the eagles. And that makes sense. I mean, he's the only one that can communicate, hug, walk around, and do things, so he might very well be the alpha eagle. And I did love to see Peacemaker and Judo Master go at it again after the last season, when Edebayo shot him. So it was kind of nice
Yeah.
for them to get that get back, even though it kind of ended abruptly again. I'm mostly shocked, and one of my favorite scenes was actually at the end where we realized that Saint Wild actually has bird seeing powers. He's kind of like Bran the Broken from Game of Thrones. He can see through birds and he was tracking eagerly. So I thought that was interesting. He is a wholesale new character for the show. So I'm curious to what James Gunn wants to do with that character, and does that character have larger powers that we've just not seen on display yet? But
Yeah.
we're running on time today, so let's get our final thoughts out the way, and then we'll close out the show. So hit us first with your final thoughts, or would you like me to go first?
Oh, I got you, man. Final thoughts on this episode. Again, it was a pretty good episode, solid episode. It didn't really feel like we moved too much in this, which is fine, because we still got some good character development. Seeing Chris and Adebayo together on screen is always good. I always love their chemistry. The flashbacks that we're getting in this episode are pretty good. I'm hearing that a lot of people like the way that they have the like the mullets looking from back then. I guess James Gunn's mullet, game is on point when it comes to back in the day flashbacks. So that's pretty nice. And also, again, getting more development in the story with Amelia and Rick Flag Sr. and seeing where that goes, and getting a little bit more mystery, into what will actually happen between those two. But I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a good, solid entry, and I cannot wait until the next one, because I think, pardon my French, I think some shit's about to hit the fan. What do you think?
I agree with you. Let me get a 1 out of 10 rating. What would you rate it?
I'll give it 7.5, 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, okay. I kind of have a similar opinion in my final thoughts. I thought it was a fun, nice holdover episode. Like you said, it didn't really move too much. We learned a little bit about hardcore, talking to Rick Flag Sr. It seems like she might be setting up Peacemaker to get turned into Argus, but I'm not sure how that's going to happen. They kind of left us on a cliffhanger. Today Peacemaker episode 5 comes out, so we'll know when we get off this podcast. But I enjoyed the episode for what it was. It definitely had a little more comic relief in it, and it slowed the tempo down just a little bit because I think we're going to ratchet it up. Like you said, I think shit's about to hit the fan, man. So we'll see what's next. We'll see what's next. As always, we want to thank you guys for watching the show, hanging in there with us, commenting, liking, subscribing. The people who always come back, those of you who are on TikTok who always like to comment and subscribe and get in there, we appreciate you all. And I just want to say thank you. So,
Yes, yes, you got it, man. And as King said, we appreciate all the love, all the support. Thank you. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Also, almost forgot to mention this, but there's also a scene in this episode where Economos spits he hawks, not spits, hawks a huge loogie at Tim Meadows' character in this show. And Tim Meadows had the reaction that I would have, and I think anybody would have after I get a loogie hawked into my face. Don't do that to anyone. Disgusting. But other than that, thank you guys. Stay nerdy, my friends.